immunity. He confessed to his own terrorist crimes and then informed on others, notably his friend Gerard Steenson. Kirkpatrick confessed to 5 murders and implicated Steenson in 6. These exchanges are taken from court transcripts at the time.
December, the murder of Colin Quinn.
UDO man, yes, that's correct.
December also, the murder of McGinn.
That's correct.
Where you were the actual killer.
That's correct.
Then we go into January 1981, and then we start off there with the murder on the 14th of Lindsay McDougall in Great Victoria Street, right?
That's correct.
In February was a shopkeeper in My Lady's Road murdered.
He was, my lord.
September, the murder of Stockman.
I was also involved in that too.
From this horrifying list, Kirkpatrick laid 67 terrorist charges against his friend Steenson.
Attempted murder, or conspiracy to murder, or armed robbery on your account.
Yes, my lord.
Did it hurt you to commit acts of violence?
No, my lord.
Take, for example, when you shot McGinn in the face. Did that not worry you?
No, my lord.
You have no feelings about it at all?
No.
Kirkpatrick's evidence removed a score of INLA activists to jail. Steenson received 6 life sentences. The result was a decline in INLA activity against the security forces and the start of an intense struggle for control of the organization. Inside jail, accusations of corruption were made the basis for expulsions, and there were vicious fights. What mattered, though, was who controlled the money and guns, the assets of terror outside jail, and here new leaders were emerging. For a time, Dominic McGlinchey united the organization under his control, but he was caught and jailed. The key figure then became the man behind this mask, John O'Reilly. Through torture and murder, he became king of the terrorist castle. Then, just before last Christmas, the collapse on appeal of the entire Supergrass case. 24 INLA sympathizers and activists walked free from jail. They included Gerard Steenson, branded Dr. Death. Steenson now set out to wrest control of the terrorist machine from John O'Reilly. He claimed he wanted to wind it up. His method was murder. January the 20th, a hotel south of the border. Associates of Steenson invited O'Reilly and others to talks. It was a trap in the mafia tradition. O'Reilly and one of his colleagues were gunned down. Steenson's friends justified the killing.
I think that the people that he was dealing with had no other option but to kill him, given that he was behaving like a mad dog.
You're saying that his murder in that hotel in Drogheda was justified?
I would think so.
March the 9th, Gerard Steenson struck again in Belfast.
1:15 that morning, my brother, against security procedures, opened the door. He was immediately confronted by 2 armed men, one of whom forced him down on the ground. As soon as he started to warn the rest of the house what was happening, they shot him twice in the head, spinning to fire another shot through that door there. The second gunman had proceeded at this time up the hall. He was around here when I opened the door to inquire as to what was going on. He immediately fired the first shot, which passed through the side of my head, removing the top of my ear. Left by there and lodged itself in the back wall. As I spun with my son in my arms, he fired again, shooting me in the back, which then exited, went through the door and left by the bedroom window. I fell into the bedroom where I threw my son up the bed. On stumbling backwards, he fired again and shot into the cot where my baby daughter was. I fell upon the floor, and as I was lying there, he followed me into the bedroom and went to shoot me yet again in the head. Missed, which went through the bed and into the floor.
It's extraordinary that you survived an attack like that, isn't it?
Well, it was Providence, I'm sure.
What happened to your brother who was badly shot at the door?
My brother was shot at the base of the skull at the top of his spine and has been left paralysed with just little motion in his left side.
A week later, in revenge, Steenson himself was lured to his death. One of a dozen killings over 3 months as terror devoured its own children. His murder has also been justified.
It's sad to see any Irishman in town going against a fellow Irishman, and indeed one human being having to kill another. But that is the reality of the situation. Unless this man was stopped, he was going to continue along this line. Now,
So to that extent, and in the context of all those killings,
it was
is
viewed
justifiable.
as a very necessary action.
Of the two friends who once tried to take over the INLA in Belfast, Gerard Steenson is dead. Harry Kirkpatrick, the Supergrass, is in prison. His sister Michelle.
I looked up to Harry. I worshipped him. But now the feelings I have for him are of total hatred for him. I really do hate him. I'd have preferred it if he had been outside and been shot dead than what he has done.
Your own brother.
Yes. I'd have preferred that.
Aside from personal history, a ceasefire in the terrorist feud is now being monitored by Roman Catholic priests. And for the time being, what is left of the Irish Republican Socialist Party marches on. But there is little honour, little glory, Easter commemoration of the dead. Most of them died at the hands of other Republican Irishmen.
Volunteer John O'Reilly. Volunteer Mickey Kearney. Volunteer Emmanuel Gargan. Volunteer Kevin Barry Duffy. Volunteer Rose Campbell. Volunteer Peter...
And the dispute that led to those deaths is still unresolved. Spokesmen for the two factions accept the extent of corruption. One believes that they've reached the end of the road. The other that even terror can be reformed.
And there is not a shadow of a doubt within my mind that we can build a revolutionary party in Ireland. Our business is revolution. We believe that there is still a position in Irish revolutionary politics for our organisation, a position that is not being filled at this moment in time by the Republican movement.
The organisation has failed. Everyone that was involved with it shares a degree of responsibility for that failure. What we're saying is let it go, let it die, and let anyone who is genuinely interested in serving the Irish working class find another way to do that.
The influence of the grave, the idea that Republicans never die in vain, may yet sustain the INLA and its political wing. It may even be forgotten that it was their own corruption that brought about their fall.